far beyond being a murder machine, whereas guns don't have any utility beyond being a murder machine. All right, here's Matthew McConaughey. All right, talking about guns and gun control.
Secure and safe schools, and we want gun laws that won't make it so easy for the bad guys to get these damn guns. So, we know it's on the table. We need to invest in mental health care. We need safer schools. We need to restrain sensationalized media coverage. We need to restore our family values. We need to restore our American values. And we need responsible gun ownership. Responsible gun ownership. We need background checks. We need to raise the minimum age to purchase an AR-15 rifle to 21. We need a waiting period for those rifles. We need red flag laws and consequences for those who abuse them. These are reasonable, practical, tactical regulations to our nation, states, communities, schools, and homes. Responsible gun owners are fed up with the Second Amendment being abused and hijacked by some deranged individuals. These regulations are not a step back. They're a step forward for a civil society and the Second Amendment. Look, is this cure-all? Hell no. But people are hurting. Families are, parents are. And look, as divided as our country is, this gun responsibility issue is one that we agree on more than we don't. It really is. Look, this should be a nonpartisan issue. This should not be a partisan issue. There is not a Democratic or Republican value in one single act of these shooters. It's not. But people in power have failed to act. So we're asking you. And I'm asking you, will you please ask yourselves, can both sides rise above? Can both sides...
Right. I'm sorry, bro. I know that, like, this is probably seen as, like, profound or whatever, but I just can't fucking take Matthew McConaughey seriously. Oh, God, I wonder if he has a stand-em like fucking Johnny Depp now, and then they're gonna fucking rip my asshole into fucking shreds, too. Ay. At this point, it's like, it's not even about the arguments. It's like who's making it and how much fucking their stands love them.
I'd see beyond the political problem at hand and admit that we have a life preservation problem on our hands. Because we got a chance right now to reach for and to grasp a higher ground above our political affiliations. A chance to make a choice that does more than protect your party. A chance to make a choice that protects our country now and for the next generation. We got to take a sober, humble, and honest look in the mirror and rebrand ourselves based on what we truly value. What we truly value. We got to get some real courage and honor our immortal obligations instead of our party affiliations. Enough with the counterpunching. Enough of the invalidation of the other side. Let's come to the common table that represents the American people. Find a middle ground, the place where most of us Americans live anyway, especially on this issue. Because I promise you, America, you and me, we are not as divided as we are being told we are. No. How about we get inspired? Give ourselves just cause to revere our future again. Maybe set an example for our children. Give us reason to tell them, hey, listen and watch these men and women. These are great American leaders right here. Hope you grow up to be like them. And let's admit it. We can't truly be leaders if we're only living for re-election. Let's be knowledgeable and wise and act on what we truly believe. Again, we got to look in the mirror, lead with humility, and acknowledge the values that are inherent to but also above politics. We got to make choices, make stands, embrace new ideas, and preserve the traditions that can create true progress for the next generation.
React harder. What do you want me to do? I just like, he's right. But also, what do you mean like centrism is the way forward? Like, just like reinforcing the same fucking weird attitudes that are not really in, they're just not real. It's not something in the wild. There is no centrism. We do agree on more than we think we do. But people also literally are just so easily fucking propagandized. Okay? Bridge building doesn't fucking mean anything in this situation when the other side won't even recognize the necessity for a bridge, let alone that there's a fucking river there. Okay? What do you mean? Like, oh, we got to build a bridge, brother. Like, there's no Republican senator who's going to listen to this fucking guy and be like, yeah, you know what? You're right. Oh. It's not even bridge building, boys. It's literally fucking no bridge, no need for a bridge, and no fucking river even. Yeah, I'm actually gonna run directly into the water. There's no water there. I will do it. Matthew McConaughey staying here just thinks it's a bit fucked up. You go out of your way to hate on him. Yeah, well, sorry. Sorry, Matthew McConaughey stands, you know?
With real leadership, let's start giving us, all of us with real leadership, let's start giving all of us good reason to believe that the American dream is not an illusion. So where do we start? We start by making the right choices on the issue that is in front of us today. We start by making laws that save innocent lives and don't infringe on our Second Amendment rights. We start right now by voting to pass policies that can keep us from having as many Columbine, Sandy Hooks, Parklands, Las Vegas, Buffaloes, and Uvaldes from here on.
Yeah, wait, where's the good part of it? Chatter linked me like a better part. I don't think this was as emotional as the way that people were presenting it. As shitty as it is, there might be a Republican voter that listens more when it's a celebrity doing some Hollywood-esque speech. No, we are. We are a nation of idiotic hog pieces of shit. On the liberal side, on the Democrat side, obviously, and also on the fucking Republican side. So we're all the same person. We are all gigantic, mouth-breathing, neck-bearded hog pieces of shit, ultimately. So yes, this kind of speech could potentially move the needle. Okay? It could. In the minds of some of these idiotic baboons. However, you also have to remember that, like, it's not. They're going to forget about it the moment that, like, a new thing happens. The moment that, like, the NRA tells you that, like, Brandon is coming to take your guns and, like, kill your children with a trans death squad at your doorstep. And then they're going to be like, oh my God, you can't take my guns away. They're going to forget all about Matthew McConaughey and his fucking beautiful speech, you know? Just like you forget about the top of the hour ad break. That comes at the top of every hour, and I tell you it's coming at the top of every hour, and then you forget about it, and then I have to tell you once again, like, if you want to avoid those ads, all you need to do is subscribe. You can do that for $5. You can do that for free with a Twitch Prime by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. You get one free Prime subscription a month. Okay? You can also get gifted a sub if you're lucky, but not everyone is as lucky. You know, you make your own luck. This is actually Gavin Newsom. He does look like Gavin Newsom a little bit. It's just funny because, like, when Matthew McConaughey says the same shit that, like, Gavin Newsom would say while looking exactly like Gavin Newsom, people are like, oh man, he's so great. Why? Because he has Southern charm. He looks like a more serious person. He looks like he has skin in the game. And Tristan Murray, thank you for the 10 gifted subs. And that's it. That's the only difference, is the charitability afforded to someone like Matthew McConaughey, even if he's saying the exact same shit.
We also met a cosmetologist All right, she was well versed in mortuary makeup. That's the task of making the victims appear as peaceful and natural as possible.
Okay, this part might be a little bit better. Maybe I saw the only shitty parts, okay? If he's going to humanize the victims further and okay, that's, you know, that does a little
in casket viewings. These bodies were very different. They needed much more than makeup to be presentable. They needed extensive restoration. Why? Due to the exceptionally large exit wounds of an AR-15 rifle. Most of the body so mutilated that only DNA test or green Converse could identify them. Many children were left not only dead but hollow. So yes, counselors are going to be needed in Uvalde for a long time. Counselors are needed in all these places where these mass shooters have been for a long time. I was told by many that it takes a good year before people even understand what to do next. And even then, when they become secure enough to take the first step forward, a lifetime's met Anna and Danilo, the mom and the stepdad of 9-year-old Maite Rodriguez. And Maite wanted to be a...
Bro, does the White House not have a microphone? Like, are they unaware? Are they unaware of the existence of microphones? What is happening right now? Like, what? Why is this? Why is the fucking sound coming from, like, inside of a tin can? Yeah, the White House took that portion of the budget and gave it to the police, brother. They need it. They need to give it to the Capitol Hill PD, brother. What the fuck?
A marine biologist. She was already in contact with Corpus Christi University of A&M for her future college enrollment. 9 years old. Maite cared for the environment so strongly that when the city asked her mother if they could release some balloons into the sky.
Be very clear, that means they were shot in the face and were unrecognizable. If they'd been shot anywhere else, the parents would have been able to identify them by face. It's obvious to some, but I wanted to point it out. Their faces were unrecognizable. They didn't have faces anymore. Yes, dude. Yeah. That's what he's saying. Jesus Christ. Yeah. This is what, I mean, that's what the 5.56 does. That's what an AR-15 does to you if you get fucking shot in the face.
In her memory, her mom said, "Oh no, Maite wouldn't want to litter." Maite wore green high-top Converse with a heart she had hand-drawn on the right toe because they represented her love of nature. Camilla's got these shoes. Can you show these shoes, please? Wore these every day. Green Converse with a heart on the right toe. These are the same green Converse on her feet that turned out to be the only clear evidence that could identify her after the shooting. How about that shit? Maite wrote a letter.
Jesus Christ.
Her mom said if Maite's letter could help.
Okay, this part is actually a lot. I mean, like I said, this part is significantly better than the other shit. That it's still like odd because it's, you know, it's Matthew McConaughey. But you know, it might have some moving power, or maybe people will look at this and go, "Fuck you, you're a celebrity. You went Hollywood on us." I don't fucking know. I don't think that, like, I have no. I just don't have a lot of faith in America. You know what I mean? And in American society. From Uvalde? No, I get it, dude. I understand, but it still doesn't fucking matter. Dude, fuck. Like, part of this needs to be tackled at the ground level too. Part of this needs to be tackled at the ground level as well. Because, like, whether we like to admit it or not, it doesn't matter that a tragedy happened in his hometown. No, not from where I'm fucking coming from, dickhead. I'm talking about it doesn't matter in the eyes of, like, people who will say, that's a libtard. Matthew McConaughey went libtard on us. And he's going Hollywood on us. That's what I'm talking about. They're going to say it's disingenuous. Because the goal of Matthew McConaughey speaking like this is to not, like, get the Democrats to fucking agree with him. The Democrats already agree with him. They're on the right side of this issue. Democrats already fucking agree with him. He's trying to convince Republicans on the ground, like actual Republican voters, to be like, all right, we do need to make change. Okay? That's why he's there. What do you think is going on here? No, Democratic voters, chat. Democratic voters, Democratic voters, Democratic voters, Democratic voters. I'm not talking about the fucking politicians. Politicians are nothing. And I was right.
Really
yeah.
Interesting to hear him say there, someone from Hollywood, calling to restore our family values in the wake of that mass shooting.
I mean, this is. Do you not understand? They're literally saying, like, Matthew McConaughey was positively calling for a restoration of family values. They're saying that's a good thing.
Elementary school in Texas.
Really?
They're not saying this is a bad thing. They're saying it's a good thing.
Say there, someone from Hollywood, calling to restore our family values.
Yeah, they're only picking up the restoring our family values bit.
Help someone accomplish her dream, but then her death would have an impact. And it would mean her dying had a point and wasn't pointless. That it would make the loss of her life matter. The letter reads, Marine biologist, I want to pass school to get to my dream college. My dream college is in Corpus Christi by the ocean. I need to live next to the ocean because I want to be a marine biologist. Marine biologists study animals and the water. Most of the time I will be in a lab. Sometimes I will be on TV.
Gun laws, like gun regulation, is such a complicated. It's not a complicated solution. It's a very easy solution. But the political motivation beyond it is way more multifaceted than just like, we don't live in a democracy, although that certainly factors into it. And that's the reason why we can't have any gun control. Americans are so easily propagandized. Like, American voters specifically are so fucking easily propagandized that, like, the reason why I'm mentioning this is because, like, what Matthew McConaughey is doing is great. And going on Fox News, apparently, he's going on Brett Byers' show. That's wonderful. Talking about family values, sure. Talk about family values too. But if that's the only message that the Republicans get out of that, that's not going to be great. You know? Family values should only be mentioned as a softening lube before you put the dick in, and the dick being gun control. This is good propaganda, though. Matthew McConaughey is a good vector for this kind of information, this kind of anger, this kind of resentment, ultimately. He needs to, he is a good figure for this. He's a good figurehead for this. This is an isolated incident and truly no one gives a fuck. You could lay out these children on the sidewalk and Dems wouldn't get it done. Republicans would talk about prayers. No one gives a fuck. I don't know why people keep saying that's his hometown, man. Shut the fuck up. I know. It literally says Uvalde native Matthew McConaughey in the Chiron. Why do you think I don't know how to read? Do you think you are such a special little person who only you have been able to pick up on this truth, dude? I know you're not actually bringing something new to the fucking table, dog. I know.
Ava, Amory, and Lexi. Start by giving all of them our promise that their dreams are not going to be forgotten. We start by making the loss of these lives matter.
I respect Matthew McConaughey for using all the political and social capital he has and the positioning that he has as like a brand for good. As much as he's like kind of cringe, and as much as he's like talking about like centrism in many ways, ultimately, it could be for good, especially if he talks about the necessity for gun control. The necessity for gun control should be the main reason why he's having these conversations to begin with. Like, there's no necessity for fucking family values control. You know what I mean? I'm fine with it when he talks about family values or whatever the fuck, or some intangible, unrelated dumb shit. If he's using that as an opportunity to fucking, like I said, open up the conversation for the actual, real ways to deal with it. It's not just gun lobbyists, though. Just how much do gun lobbies pay these politicians? How does it remove their sense of responsibility and guilt so callously? It's not just the gun control, or it's not just gun lobbyists, okay? The NRA's most successful purpose is not necessarily to line up the pockets of politicians. It's that their most successful way is to mobilize people on their toys. Guns are toys. They're murder toys. People love their toys. People love their commodities. They have been able to successfully create a culture of like gun ownership being everything, like the most important thing in many instances. The gun is more important than the human itself for so many Americans. It is what they mobilize on. It's what they believe. The NRA could like turn around and fucking tell you like, hey, and the politicians, of course, consistently reinforce those brain broken attitudes. The NRA works at the behest of the gun manufacturers, and the gun manufacturers and the NRA simultaneously have been able to create a gun culture in America that dictates, especially because commodity fetishism is all we have, and our commodity purchases are our, cultural signifiers. We get a sense of shared perspective, a sense of community from things that we purchase, things that we consume, like the Marvel Cinematic Universe or guns, no different, right? And gun solidarity is really, really, really important for like 50% of the country. Probably more important than like your political allegiances. Straight up. So the NRA itself is one institution that needs to be destroyed, certainly, in order for progress to happen. But another thing that needs to happen is like to explain to people that like, look, you can be a fucking gun owner and you can want to fuck and suck a gun. You can want to shove an AR-15 in your asshole, okay? If that's what you want to do, you fucking sick, twisted, perverted freaks. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. Okay, but you need to get licenses. You need to get a license for it. You need to advocate for licenses for it, okay? That's it. I love guns. I love shooting guns. I'm not at the level where I have tailored my entire personality around shooting guns like many of these fucking weirdos have, right? I'm not a fucking gun pervert. I don't want to suck and fuck a gun. But I do enjoy shooting guns, and I think guns are fun, and they're cool, okay? But they're still very serious. They're a murder machine. And I think that it is an understandable, desirable step towards safety to advocate for some level of gun control. Then go to a gun range? What do you mean? I have many times. I've gone to the gun range with the stream. I've shot guns on stream multiple times. I've shot guns off stream. I've shot guns on stream. I love guns. But I still think the level of safety and consideration for what is a tool for murder is not where we're at right now with our current level of protection and safety and security. Yeah. That's perhaps the most disgusting part of this problem. Like, the broader analysis is that we have nothing to stand for. We have no political allegiances that are meaningful. We have no solidarity. We are alienated both from our labor, but also alienated in the social sense from one another. And our only sense of community comes from our commodity purchases. And that can become a mobilizer. And Republicans use that as a political mobilizer. And guns have become so much more than just a commodity that has defined your personality. Now they make it like a political movement. Now they turn it into a way of existence, a way of life. And if you want to do that, that's fine. It's weird, okay? And that kind of cultural shift is not going to happen in the absence of material conditions changing, okay? Going against that is not going to happen. That is simply a distraction that is helpful to reassert, reinstitute the capitalist hegemonic attitudes, okay? Focused on being a gun guy and a gun pervert. You're not focused enough on unionizing your workplace. You're not focused on, like, you know, forcing your politicians to do your bidding. It's a really good distraction and an identity point for so many conservatives. Guns are more popular than the Republican Party is, okay? And the Republican Party recognizes that, so they use it and abuse it. The NRA recognizes that, so they use it and abuse it. And they motivate people. They put the fear of God into people, and they say, listen, it's not just about inconveniencing. They're going to fucking take your guns away, and you're going to be in fear for the rest of your life. Black people are going to come into your neighborhood and, like, kill you, okay? Immigrants are going to come into your neighborhood and, like, fuck your daughters if you don't have a gun. But then these people get fucking riled up. So what you have to do is, in the absence of, like, changing that cultural attitude, which is not going to happen, right? Because it's way too successful as a means of distraction. You have to get gun owners to be like, listen, bro, I mean, this is crazy. You know, we should have licenses. I mean, that's wild. You have a license for a car, you should be able to have a license for a gun. Yeah, it'll be a little inconveniencing, but ultimately you will personally avoid additional child murders from happening. Because as it stands currently, Republicans care more about their own personal inconvenience than they do about avoiding additional children being murdered at schools. That's just the reality. Okay? That's just the truth. It's just the fucking truth. They literally, at the moment that you stand in front of reasonable gun safety measures, we're not talking about like wholesale ban. We're not talking about like the fucking government coming in, breaking your door down and like stealing your guns from you or anything like that. We're talking about license, registration, and a demonstration of safety, okay? For a tool that is for murder. And keep your fucking guns. You can suck and fuck your guns. As long as you showcase that you know how to properly handle them, you have proper safety measures in place, and you can undergo a mental evaluation and psych check. And this will not solve all of the violence. Clearly, there are still tools to do violent things with. However, this will make it a lot harder to do violence, and that is the appropriate thing to do. That is at the basis of every fucking negative freedom. That's at the basis of every rule and regulation, is adding additional layers to make it as hard as possible for random people to be able to fucking do violent things. And when I mention stuff like this, I don't know. It just like blows my mind that people still are like, nope, not happening. It's very discouraging. It's kind of crazy that like people are not even down for a reasonable level of gun safety and a reasonable level of regulation, restriction.
Sir,
Thank you.
When you spoke to the president, can you finish that?
Are the changes that are being discussed enough for you, Mr. McConaughey?
Someone said, "Are you grandstanding?"